We now go to PressCorps Colonial correspondent Mari Sharp, live out in the field.
Correspondents from across the battlefields of the Foxhole War, this is PressCorps Colonial correspondent Mari Sharp, live from the Outwitch Ranch here in the Linn of Mercy. It's day 55, about 1600 hours. We'll be approaching the evening soon, but for now, Kali forces are attempting to push towards the Warden stronghold at Lathair. Now, the Warden's relic base at Lathair is on the east end of a river that cuts through the region. And there are two bridges that lead into the upper sector. So Colonials are going to have a hard time actually closing down, locking down those bridges. However, it seems that they have made substantial progress. Lots of logistics, engineering, and troops in the area, but a Colonial truck here taking fire from a Warden up above. Warden up there in the rocks. He's got some friends with him. Colonials beneath, attempting to fire back, but there is a trench up there in the 10 meters up above. Warden raiders there in the trench up above. Hello, Mr. Warden, can you hear me up there?
I can indeed.
Hello, hi. Before the fighting continues here, my name's Mari Sharp. I'm with the PressCorps. Tell me, how many Colonials have you encountered here in the back line?
Quite a few.
Extra.
Do you think you'll be able to get out of this one alive?
Nope.
Okay. You've got about 5 plus wardens. There's one.
Ah, Press.
Did you hit him?
He's dead.
Hey, you know what? We destroyed already 3 AFT.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. My
so
bad.
it's easy.
Dead.
Oh, hello. Yes, Major Wolfie. Good to see you again of the 404th. Fourth, excuse me. So I was busy talking to that gentleman over there. But it seems the Wardens came over the rocks. They are actually climbed this rock formation. So that's a new flank the Colonies are going to have to watch.
One guy with bayonet on top.
Copy that. So rock fighting here among the cliffs and rock passages, and just an ugly display of, an ugly display of trench networks. Clearly they were made under fire, wherever trenches could be made to just inch forward. That's the pattern I've been seeing. Now the Colonials here are going to have to be very careful that they don't get hit with a series of frag grenades. They're going to have to watch their spacing. But here we've got some...
Press, grab a weapon, man.
I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that.
So you're a spy, huh?
What? No.
You're gonna kill him.
Stop here. I need it.
Move out the fucking way! Move!
Let me get it.
I wonder what that trucker is doing. I wonder if he realizes that thing doesn't take a lot of hits for it to be disabled. And he destroyed one of his own trench lines.
Why are you shooting her?
Look what he did. That's our trench. Fucking moron.
Colonials are going to have to be very careful. They're going to have to watch their spacing. One bad frag or gas grenade is going to kill about a dozen plus here.
Why did he do that?
Bringing field guns across the bridge. Yikes. Wow, he's going.
But things are grinding to a halt here as this meat grinder just becomes an absolute hellhole. Almost no chances to flank. You've got tall rocks on either side. There is a chance... I can't actually confirm if anyone can climb these rocks. Not climb these rocks, but rather come at it from a different angle and fire from above. If they can, that would be a substantial advantage. But for now, it's man-to-man fighting. Wardens do have a field machine gun. They are pulling it back for the meantime, but over a dozen plus, I'm going to say 20 minimum Wardens on about 100 meters east. 2 field machine guns in their operation.
What was the point of this
East or west?
East. Oh, sorry, west.
Hey, Mr. Press, tell them we have a spy among us.
Can you confirm that?
This is interesting.
That was a perfectly good shot. Just sitting on this road. Oh my.
If you're just joining us, we are live here from the Linn of Mercy, just outside Lathair, the Warden stronghold at Lathair, a large colonial offensive pushing that way from Outwitch Ranch.
76 standard.
It is day 55, 1800 hours. Lots of action here, but it's becoming a meat grinder. It is a meat grinder, has been a meat grinder. Colonials trying to push the Wardens and their 2 field machine guns from 2 angles from the primary road in the rock cliffs, where there have just been non-stop casualties in that small sector, as well as a flank north of that area, where Wardens and Colonials are fighting amongst the rocks. Both sides attempting to gain the advantage of the rocks. We've seen Wardens come through and attack the trucks in the back line, as well as Colonials trying to gain an edge as well.
So much stuff.
But for the most part, this trench is just chock full of infantry, as well as bodies, both Warden and Colonial. Backpacks abound.
Tell the people, they're killing medics.
Oh yeah, Major Truelove, hello. All right, well he's walked off. That's all right. Our doctrine here in the PressCorps is to ask questions where we can, but if they're just too busy out here in the battlefield, we don't want to interrupt them too much. We don't want to become a nuisance. We just want to know what's happening and get a perspective. But if they're too busy, we're not insulted in the slightest. Don't feel like you have a need to talk to us if you catch us out there.
Why are there so many bodies here?
Collies pushing forward here in the as the evening draws upon us. It's 1830 hours. Visibility still strong down to 35 meters, and here in the trench networks, that's more than enough in order to engage the enemy. Gas grenades abound. My goodness, those Wardens better have gas masks, or it's going to be a mess. Collies charging dozens of meters at a time. Less than that. Trench to trench fighting in its purest form. Wardens desperately holding on to the bridge, the southern bridge that leads into the upper sector of the Linn of Mercy. An Warden FMG on that bridge, but they're going to have to be careful that they don't get crossfire. There it is, yes. Colonial crossfire from above the rock formation, able to get a good angle on that Warden FMG. I don't know if it's still operated, if it's in operation. Warden engineers desperately trying to place down some Foxholes, but they just can't do it. Collies they have total fire superiority in this sector so far. So until the Wardens can gather, can rally and fight through with something, either a volley of dozens of grenades, or using that FMG to great effect, they're going to lose a lot of ground here in just a moment. Colonials definitely looking to contain the Wardens, keep them out of the east end of the Linn of Mercy. Wardens here do have another option as well, which I'm sure the Colonials have thought of, which is an attack from the northeast in Callahan's Passage. But it seems the Wardens are just too darn busy trying to hold into Lathair to have the time to do it. An absolute mess here in the trench networks. The Warden trench networks on the east side of the bridges here in northeast Linn. A very interesting geographic situation as well. There are 2 bridges, as I've described before. There are 2 bridges that lead into that connect the eastern to the northern sectors of Linn of Mercy, here in the region, northeast of the region. Additionally, there is another bridge, a smaller bridge that connects the 2 areas here as well. So both sides attempting to gain control of these bridge sectors wherever they can. Major Truelove, can you hear me? Oh, again, he might be too busy. Might be able to get a little bit too close here. Collie's gaining a lot of ground here amongst the trench networks. A concerted push, about 70 meters gained in the last 10 minutes. That's a lot considering we're in the age of trenches now. Colonials trying to widen the front, widen the, expand the combat width, and in order to envelop the wardens, or at least get the full breath, trying to get choked out themselves. But they have two bridges that they want to try and lock down. Oh goodness, that's a lot of SMG fire. Gotta be careful that we don't get caught up in it. And collies do have to make sure that they don't get flanked as well. We reported earlier that the wardens were exploiting, or making good use of, I should say, a flank in the rocks. I believe the collies had it last time we looked at it, but fighting still going on parallel to the fight going on here at the bridges. Just a reminder, if you've got a story to tell, or if you would like to advertise your regiment, please visit the Discord. Stop by PressCorps World Headquarters to the Discord link below and get your story read on the air by Jeffrey Jennings back in the studios. Collie's falling back just a little bit. Small counter attack action from the wardens, but honestly, it's just a mess. Visibility still at 25 meters. Sergeant Gonza, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sergeant Gonza von Otto Lesion, you're live here on Twitch radio services. I'm with the PressCorps. I'm Mari Sharp. Tell me, how long you've been fighting in this sector outside Lathair?
Just today.
Just today, and what has the action been like in your own words?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. We'll move on. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
You should be scared of snipers.
Advance.
It should be noted that
social anxiety be like?
that a lot of these trench networks do have bridges, but these bridges are lined with mines. So any supplies that are gonna have to make their way through, not that this sector is clean for any supplies whatsoever, but should the collies actually manage to push up and take these bridges and supplies want to get through, they're gonna have to clear out these mines first. It appears, if I'm looking at these tracers correctly, Colonials do have the high ground in the rocks above. That's about 30 meters above the ground fighting. Very good crossfire, very good angle on this connecting bridge that connects the two bridges in themselves. Not so much the two bridges literally, but the two bridge heads.
We're so fucking stacked up, holy shit.
Colonial's gonna have to watch their spacing, make sure one bad frag or a gas grenade doesn't kill them all.
Once we get this done, you have a perfect trench to advance.
One engineer is still desperately trying to put down Foxholes, gain some sort of position, but honestly, it's a futile effort. There's so much firepower coming from the collective Colonial infantry. Even if they did manage to get it up, that thing would fall in a minute or less. Remember, it can only up to be maximum 3 engineers on a single structure, but there is no maximum on how many people can shoot at that structure. The connecting bridge on the east side of the river here at the Linn of Mercy, northeast Linn of Mercy, is on its last legs. A lot of cracks in that bridge. That would be very good for the defending wardens. And if they're able to contain the Colonial push. But at the same time, they also have to be mindful of this waterfall up above that I had been talking about earlier. There is still a rock route There's still a rock route up above, in which infantry can still connect as well. Granted, trucks won't be able to get through and synergize the logistics elsewhere. But to be honest with you, I don't think that the colonies are too worried about supplies right now. At least way up here.
Good job, boys and girls.
Yeah, that was a hard fight.
It's quiet.
As in
I like how it's immediately quiet.
And the fire fights dying down in this immediate sector. The collies will take the bridgeheads here in the southern bridge leading into the upper section of Linn of Mercy. Goodness, how strong is that bridge? Is it on its last legs? Colonials not doing a very good job watching their spacing, but I don't think they care. And I don't know if the wardens have the necessary frag grenades in order to kill it. If you're just joining us, we are live here at the Linn of Mercy, just outside the warden stronghold, relic base at Lathair. A very strong colonial push towards the bridge. And the bridges, it seems, colonial infantry already pouring into the northern bridge. I'm going to guesstimate about 40 infantry operating in this sector alone. 40 plus with plenty of logistical support. It should be noted that while the colonial push into this area has been very successful so far in terms of momentum. They've incurred lots of casualties as well, so make no mistake about it, it's a high price to pay. But same for the wardens, and they might just wind up losing this area, especially if the bridges fall. Now, it should be noted that the southern bridge that the colonials have captured, leading into the warden area, still remains. It's still up. The wardens were unable to destroy the southern bridge, so colonials might very well use that almost immediately and try and gain a flank on the northern bridge and cut off Lathair before the fighting even gets there. Although, let's be honest, it's already there. From my current position where I stand, and it's a little safer than the very tip of the spear, Lathair is already 75 meters away. Only 75 meters away. Colonial engineers already trying to repair this bridge, knowing just how important it is.
Get the hell off the bridge! Go, go, go!
And there's a push. There's a fresh push.
Oh God!
And that's immediately recalled.
God, too many machine guns. I regret so many things.
Second Warrant Officer Grievous Gamer 8, can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay, you're live on the air here on Twitch radio services. I'm with the PressCorps. I'm Mari Sharp. You just tried to push into the warden defensive positions there. How many
there
guns?
Was less enemy resistance than there was.
How many blue guns did you run into in that immediate push just now, seconds ago?
About a good
5.
10 to 40.
10 to 40. That's not an incorrect number, but how do you think the collies are going to be able to push through? Just throw bodies continuously, or do you think there's a better way?
He was too traumatized to
Flanking is a
remember.
great way of doing it. Flanking is a great way of doing it. We got guys on the hills with LMGs.
No big deal, but there's a couple of them coming across the other
Someone
bridge.
get that man a medic.
Thank you, guys.
So, fielding the things I just heard just now, you've got flanks if you go westward and go clockwise around the position. You've got the waterfall up above in order to gain a height advantage and widen things up a bit, and then there's just the old tactic of throwing things through. Do you think there'll be fire support brought up anytime soon from a howitzer?
Unknown at the time, considering our howitzer back there. I have zero idea if he's even in range.
Right, of course. And in terms of actually, how long have you been fighting here in this sector?
Just got on after a 10-day break.
Okay, so a lot of fresh reinforcements, it seems, is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Mixing in with the grizzled vets that have spent only an hour here and can easily call themselves that, considering just how much fire has been exchanged. But last thing,
Here says the original Orb Breaker map, you can call yourself a veteran.
easily, I think so as well. So last question here, how confident are you that the Colonials will be able to lock down this eastern sector of the Linn of Mercy?
Oh, easily.
What are you streaming?
Yes, we are live. We are live on Twitch.
Yeah, easily. Easily. We can hold this place as long as possible, especially out ranch. Ranch is really easy to hold. As long as the...
As long as the what? I'm sorry?
As long as the wardens don't realize we're not covering the lost tops, we'll be fine.
Okay, well, we'll find out very much soon enough. Thank you so
this
much,
is live.
Second Warrant Officer Grievous Gamer 8. Have a good one. Good luck to you.
Yeah,
Man.
Come on, guys, let's get rolling.
Yeah, because they know we're coming now. Fucking...
Well, mulling over those options, it looks like the Colonials have opted to simply push on through head first and take the losses. And whatever losses they take, they just won't care. Or rather, they'll have to honor it later. But Collie's making headway. They have broken through that bridgehead and are now a dozen meters or less, the tip of the spear of the Colonial attack here, just a dozen meters or less away from making physical contact with the relic base. Warden's refusing to give in, however, throwing plenty of fire right back at him, including frag grenades. I just saw a sticky bomb be thrown into that trench. A desperate tactic indeed, but certainly if your position is about to fall, and you have plenty of supplies left over, use it or lose it. Looking at the Warden trenches that were in this, that were just outside the northern bridge leading into northern Linn. A lot of them have been upgraded, some of them holding pipelines as well, so it seems the Wardens certainly attempted to, planned to stay. They had planned to stay, and of course, who plans on leaving, especially when you hold such a valuable area. Major bagpipes. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Excellent. You have your bagpipes with you right now. Oh dear. Well, we'll make sure to listen for it in the distance as we observe this push. Good luck to you.
Move.
Okay, we'll hear.
Please move. Please move. Please.
Major Mr. Bagpipes of the Raid outfit.
You want a piece of me, boy? Yeah, I want a piece of you. Come here. I want a piece of you.
That relic base is still firing.
Thank you.
It is day 56 here at Lathair in the Linn of Mercy. 0100 hours. Visibility down to approximately 15 meters. Now, even though the Colonials...
I've got 56 rounds of...
Actually, let me hold that thought.
Didn't mean to knock you off.
Frags now exploding on Lathair, and a howitzer. I think that's the death knell right there. Sticky bombs being thrown on the Lathair relic base. Howitzer now firing upon it. I just saw that shell land.
Where's the bagpipe?
And I'm seeing what I think are Colonial... Oh, there's the bagpipes. There, you can hear it in the distance. Colonials attempting to surround the relic base, incurring some casualties as they attempt to do it. Wardens making use of the fire ports at Lathair. The firing ports at this relic base. Very effective in holding out. I am noticing visible damage now. We just saw that relic base take a lot of damage. Still firing, it's still up, but it is deteriorating under all of this Colonial firepower.
Charge, boys, get their asses.
And there is second warrant officer Grievous Gamer 8 calling for another offensive push, despite him the first time calling one and immediately recalling it. So we'll see if this one pans out for him. Green ash after green ash grenade hitting that relic base. It is turning into a shooting range target. Second howitzer shell now landing. We'll see if it's more consistent fire this time. Colonials attempting to maintain fire superiority, constant SMG fire or rifle fire on that rally base so as to keep the wardens contained. Hello? Oh.
Русские есть, блядь, шарящие, нет?
Oh yes, Private Сюзю, Брювье, как дела?
Бункер возможно разрушить с мортиры или нет?
В теории, да.
Мы в него уебали 7 снарядов, что-то ему вообще похуй.
Okay, well, извините.
Думаю, что у него вообще никак нельзя там гранаты испытать.
It's just gonna be a bloodbath of a firefight between that forest, that small grove of trees, and further eastward.
Мортира у нас нахуй это снарядами хуярит.
It's a combat width of about 50 meters wide, and it curves a bit. Colonial engineers actually trying to upgrade the trenches just outside the relic base, and that might sound bad, but honestly, they hold the trenches. They're attempting to hold the trenches and turn it around on the wardens. And considering these trench networks that the wardens built do have barbed wire, the wardens can't initiate any bayonet charges. Because there is barbed wire on both sides of the trenches. It should be noted that you have the option, I believe, correct me if I'm mistaken, you have the option of putting up barbed wire only on one side of a trench, but the wardens seem to opted to put them on both sides. So now the collies are using the trenches against the wardens that they had built. So much fire here that you're hearing. My goodness. Warden's still holding out in that thing. But the relic base has taken substantial fire. I think it's just about destroyed.
Almost.
Colonials now making physical contact with the relic base. There it is.
Should I just throw grenades at it or what?
It is possible. There are wardens inside of it repairing it as we go. I've been saying that relic base is on its last legs for the past 10 minutes now, but it is really genuinely on its last legs now. I'm actually surprised the howitzer fire has not continued. I understand the colliers are getting in almost danger close, but just simple communication can rectify that.
Specialists are getting shot at.
About 20 plus colonials still operating in this sector alone. Engineers bringing up the back line very much close to the front. No warden dare charge outside and immediately get gunned down, but gas grenades might force them to do so. And the fire has stopped. It will most likely continue in small forms, but as for trying to destroy that thing, the collies are a little perplexed.
Is it about to collapse. It's about to collapse, boy. Keep firing, keep firing.
Don't go inside, there's no
Don't
one
go in,
inside.
it's about to collapse. Get the hell out of there.
Any moment now. Any moment now.
Hey, man.
17% is the number that's just been told. 17%. That relic base actually got a lot more fight in it than I thought.
push in the trenches. Get fighting in the trenches.
Come on, go down.
Move. I beg you.
Some Colonials now actually are walking up and going into the relic base before coming out.
Anyway, got more SMG. Working fine. That was equipment.
There's some HE grenades for you.
Go.
My goodness, what a holdout. Warden's continuing to fire outside of that thing.
On die, you son of a bitch.
Get gas on the cowboy repair. We have friendlies in there.
We have hostile forces in there as well.
Oh, hey, we'll all go in there. See what you did there.
Colonials are grouped up in the trench that works just outside the relic base. They have to be very careful not to get caught up in one errant frag to grasp.
Someone toss a frag in that building.
This is a concerted siege. I am surprised the howitzer has stopped firing. Colonials still taking casualties this whole time. But the Wardens are getting the rough of it. Plenty of them deploying before they can get their, and then getting gunned down before they can get their bearings. Colonials firing into the ports, into some of the holes in the walls where the Wardens were meant to fire out of. I do wonder if small arms fire does anything to it at all. I do know it is taking damage.
How's that for whoop ass?
There it is.
What the hell?
Time is currently 05:15 hours here on day 56 in the Linn of Mercy.
Go, 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 go. Everyone, bonsai charge their trenches. Go, go, go.
Colonials not resting on their laurels, pushing forward. But the relic base has been destroyed, as you just heard.
Push the fuck out. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
And a trench networks beyond the relic base, still occupied by some Warden stragglers. But it does seem that the Colonials will take the bridges leading into the northern section of the Linn of Mercy,
Just 'cause you
locking down the eastern third of the region, eastern fourth of the region, at least for now.
Found lots of
The Colonials at Outwitch Ranch, while they hold a very strong and well-supplied and well-defended town, they will have to be mindful of any flanks from Callahan's Passage in the northeast on the regional borders, which can't be locked down and destroyed.
We dining? Yeah, we dining.
They take reservations down in hell? I'm not quite sure.
Oh yeah. Body shot, busy as always.
Oh yes, Jury 89, Major General Jury 89. Good to run into you again. You're live on the air as always.
Where that?
Oh yeah.
Tell me, how long have you been here in the push towards Lathair?
The whole time.
The whole time, my
Like
goodness.
4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
4 hours. 4 hours in real time you were pushing from Outwich all the way up to where we are now.
Yes.
Shoot them, shoot them.
Well, what do you think is the greatest lesson you've learned here in the hell that is
Bring
was
more
those
heavy
canyons?
shells.
Bringing what shells? I'm sorry.
Bring more heavy. Yeah, bring more heavy shells.
Fire support, concerted fire support, absolutely, and supply.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think?
What do I think? Well, honestly, I'll have to agree with you. A lot of bodies might have been saved had more concerted fire support been leveraged, but I guess as long as the end result is the same, you've got your territory.
Oh yeah.
We did notice some howitzer shells landing on that relic base, but only a handful. I am curious as to why there wasn't more concerted fire.
Lay down.
Wardens here attempting
Okay,
small
hold
counterattacks,
that.
but honestly, I think they just might be trying to buy time to set up defenses on the other side of the river.
Okie doke.
Sky.
And yeah, you're right. More lives safe.
Well, Dory, thank you so much for your time. I duly appreciate it, and good luck to you out here as you attempt to
Anytime.
resecure the rest of the east.
Anytime, don't die.
Press. Turn to the list.
Well, gentlemen, you're all live on the air right now here on Twitch Radio Services. Would you like to yell out a bit of a congratulatory yell as you capture this relic base? Hundreds of lives lost
I'm gay.
and
I'm
plenty of
gay.
rounds expended.
Hey.
But live here from Lathair, the fighting continues as the collies try to secure this sector. But I think they'll be successful in
We've
doing
been
it just from
fighting
the
here
sheer
for
amount
too
of manpower
long.
as well as
Are
supply.
you from Boston?
Hey, Radio Man, how's the hardware?
Are you from Boston?
No, I'm from Valley.
Come on, guys, let's do this trend. Big faster. Big faster.
I'm from West Valley.
I don't see you. Guys, we have one enemy southeast. He's not dead yet. Yeah, he's still alive.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Inside the trenches, look for him.
I'm actually not quite sure what was the winning factor, other than, of course, a higher number of infantry to the fight. That's always a factor. It's always a good thing to have on your side. But additionally, consistent supply, making sure that these troops continue to push forward, and just a general sense of making sure you do not stop pushing and get bogged down. And fire superiority, continue to shoot down range and making sure that the enemy can't shoot back. If there's any critique I can make, and it would be a muted one at best, because I simply was not part of the majority of that push or part of the operation, so I don't know the full picture. But I can let you know that fire support, especially here in the age of howitzers, now that howitzers have been deployed to the 45th, are always a good thing to have as well. And creeping it forward, coordinating with your infantry and your forward units, that's always a good idea. Well, that's about all we have time for you now, at least here in this portion of the border conflicts, but plenty more action continuing to erupt as the Colonials find general movement northward, and the Wardens holding on ferociously. But we'll see as the collies, looking at the map here, in Godcrofts, my goodness, the Godcrofts has been cut off, at least in terms of land routes. Colonials taking the critical juncture of Protos, that relic base there, as well as moving general westward towards Weathered Expanse. The Wardens are already fighting on the territory they consider theirs. Honestly, everyone considers all of this territory theirs, don't they? Well, in the meantime, I think we'll just go to the music and keep watching it hear from the various reports. So, for the Press Corps, I'm Press Corps Colonial Correspondent Mari Sharp, live from the Linn of Mercy as the Colonials have successfully taken out the relic base at Lathair and are very likely to take it and hold it as their own and lock down the east. Let's get back to it. You're listening to 121.5 WPRSS Sunhaven, serving the disputed Siva